All right, Jeff, is your mom going to be quiet? You ready?
Of course. I told her to be quiet.
Mom.
Nick, ready?
Hell yep.
Let's do it.
Freshly picked and ready for consumption. Here comes another round of the Radishcast.
Another Radishcast. I'm Mike. There's Spill. Jeff something Gregory. Let's turn rumors facts. I don't know. I'm a shell of a man at this point.
This week.
The sadness of this boy.
It is what it is. You know.
You definitely don't have the energy this startup there, Mike. That you normally bring.
Sometimes got to count on you two to bring the heat.
Oh God! Oh, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I'm able to live up to that.
I'm just gonna kind of zone out for the next hour or so.
Oh no!
Let me know
how
it
goes. We can't do this
goes.
alone.
We need you.
It's gonna go bad with no Mike. That's for damn sure.
Oh well, we'll see how this goes. I don't know if my heart's in this today, boys, but. It's been a rough couple weeks for the Archdukes.
Hey, it's still early. There's time to turn it around. That's what I'm telling the Jugs every day. We got time, boys.
We got time. It's early.
I don't like being lumped in with the Jugs.
You're right there, baby. Nick, you're not too far ahead of us either, though. We're right on your tail.
1 week and everything could turn.
Yeah. There's hope.
Yeah. Let's just get into this and get this over with.
Let's get this.
All right.
So sad.
Our week 3 money line from last week, the highest scoring running back goes to Kyle with Zeke squeaking it out over Kareem Hunt. Benny just getting that money snatched away from him.
Snag.
This is going to be an interesting one this week, though. Highest scoring bench player. I don't even know how to go about picking that really. You almost got to pick a quarterback. It seems like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're kind of just.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yep.
Guessing, right? But I don't really.
It's going to be a random person too.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's going to be some random receiver. Zach Pascal's going to catch 2 touchdowns, and you're going to be like,
"Yep,
okay,
that's exactly right."
But no, we'll see. I don't have a plan for
one.
it. I'm just going to totally wing it.
Good.
So. Maybe for this week we should just pick the play, not the player, but just pick the manager who's gonna have the player, so we at least have a chance to get it right. But
yeah, I think that
seems like the better way to do it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Why don't we hop into the recap?
This here's the Radish Recap.
First game we got is Lick McCaff and Medak. Coach Jordan Chartier taking on Grizzly Adams. Coach Alex Cooley. Lick McCaff was the 14-point favorite. I was the only one that had a little bit of faith in Cooley here. McCaff still pulled off the win 102-96. One of the 3 games that came entirely down to that Monday night game. It was a busy one. Jeff, I'll throw it over to you first. What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, so I got to confess, I didn't get to watch, the Sunday or the Monday night game. So, I'm kind of just looking at scores. I've got a couple quick updates, but it sounded like McCaffrey got hurt. Only sitting there with 5 points. That definitely would tell the story there. But, Jordan was able to get enough out of Jones and Claypool and Cooks, who has surprisingly been very consistent this year and has been for the last couple of years. It's nice to see on Cooley's side of the ball that Barkley came around and got a nice scoring game in there. So Jackson did enough for him, and overall, Jordan walks away with the win, tying things up at 2-1.
I saw a humorous post on Reddit that said, "Are Tom Brady and Drew Brees really any good, or did they just get to play with Brandon Cooks?"
It's funny.
That is a good one.
but no, really, I think a lot of what this comes down to is, right, Cooley's baseline usually comes from Travis Kelce having it's funny to say a guy that put up 100 yards is like a disappointing game, right? But 13 or 14 points from Kelce is he usually honestly gets more, and so that along with Darius Slayton getting hurt early, Devonta Smith has really been down these last 2 weeks. Debo didn't get the output that he usually gets. I'm happy to see this game end up like this because despite me losing, it keeps me 2 games out of the division, right? So I'm happy. I'm happy for everybody to be beating up on each other. Nick, what else you see?
Yeah, Devonta Smith, you thought it would be a decent matchup. I mean, trending down the last couple of weeks. Renfro, wide receiver 1 in Vegas. Waller's taking a step back. It's just going to be the Renfro show now, I guess.
That was a good call on his part.
Starter. Yeah,
for sure. It's all around. This was, like I said, one of the 3 games. It was just a battle going into that last game. So it was probably one of the most on the edge of your seat Monday nights we've had in quite a while. But jumping onto a game that was not the edge of your seat at all, we got the Aaron Rodgers football team and Coach Tony Fisher taking on Jay's Juggernauts and Coach Jeff Gregory. The football team came in as a 14-point favorite, and Jeff thought he had it, but after a 152 to 62, just slaughtering. 90 points. That line looks like it might have been
not quite 90.
You were close. I got to tell you, were
close. Didn't hit 90. So.
62? Is that the lowest score we've seen? Has anyone scored lower?
No one's ever been in the 50s, so it's.
I thought there was like a 56 before. I didn't go back and look though.
Maybe John had a really bad game last year against. It was the John Troy, and it was very similar. Troy put up like a 150 plus, and John just was abysmal. I don't remember the exact scoring on that, but yeah. No, Jeff, I don't have it written down in front of me, but I got to imagine
Jeff's worst coach of the week.
This week, guys, it was a really tough decision. I had a lot of candidates. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, without much hesitation, Valerie Valancourt correctly reported it earlier this week. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but the Jugs are definitely the worst coach of the week. The team just did not perform, and I was a little disappointed that I didn't really think I was going to beat Tony just with my matchup versus his, but not quite 90 points. I wrote it down. I think it was 89 and some change or something like that. And 89.36 points, whereas actually week 1 came over Tony, the margin was 94.32. So I think this was Tony was just trying to get some punches back, and unfortunately I was the recipient of all those. So just an all-around bad week for the Jugs.
I like that you had to go and check out the stats to put it into some sort of nice light for it.
Yep.
That wasn't the worst.
Well,
I gotta think at this point in the year, Calvin Ridley's got to be one of the most disappointing players on your team.
I know. It's tough.
Yeah, right now I was expecting, just a bunch of targets, a lot of receptions, and he's getting a lot of catches. They're just, they're like 5 or 6 yard catches. You're getting 60 yards out of them here and there, 70, whatever it might be. But he hasn't had that big week like he was seeing last year with Julio and Matt Ryan in the lineup. So a little disappointed there, but the talent's there. It's early. He'll pull it around.
It seems like it's that offense as a whole, right? Because
you're
not seeing anything better from Kyle Pitts. You're not seeing anything out of Russell Gage. Like, that offense just isn't moving anywhere.
Right.
Part of what has made Calvin Ridley so good in the last years is he's putting up 10, 12 touchdowns every year because he's so good in the red zone. Well, that doesn't matter if you don't get in the red zone. So, Nick, jumping over to Tony's side of the ball, what are you seeing there?
Finally you see the potential for Tony here. I mean, Michael Thomas coming back too. That'll boost him up. But here's that ceiling for Tony. We all thought he should perform up there. So it's good to see Josh Allen. Crazy game. I mean, after the last first 2 weeks were modest, right? I mean, we didn't see something like 37 points. Yeah, 17-16. Finally, he gets rolling. Mm-hmm. Justin Jefferson, a big game against Seattle. That's good too. I think I heard a report Swift's going to be even more involved in the offense. I think I saw that today.
I did also.
How did he look last week? Did he look dominant?
It was decent, but I mean, to be honest with you, I'm just disappointed in that game in whole. It's overshadowed by how terrible we lost. That long field goal plus the delay of game. Did you hear about that, Jeff?
Yeah, I actually I found like a spot at the top of the hill. I was out in the woods all week, and I would get some notifications that would come through, and that was one of the highlights that came through was like just a last minute longest NFL
60.
record field goal. And I was like, typical Lions fashion, just
cutting
the heart out of everyone.
And then that delay of game prior to too that wasn't called. I think I saw something that two of the refs on that crew were also on a couple other ones that we got screwed over, like that Calvin Johnson no catch call.
Conspiracy.
I know, it has to be. That's the only thing I can believe. No, it's just the Lions are cursed. That's what it comes down to. There's no conspiracy.
All right, jumping on to our next one. We got Archduke Fish and Coach Mike Fisher taking on SCLSU Mud Dogs and coaches Joe Harper and Troy Hecht. The Dukes were an 8-point favorite. Everybody thought we had it. I thought we had it. Taking a 2-point loss, 103-101. Yeah, it was disappointing to say the least. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say. This was a lot of unfortunate events all lining up perfectly, right? The Justin Tucker field goal, if that doesn't happen, I take the win. If the Miami game doesn't go into overtime, I get the win because of, Gaskin and Fuller getting the couple points each in that overtime period. There was just a bunch of stuff that I could feel it happening, right? DJ Chark was catchless, and then right at the end of the first half just catches a touchdown, right at the. It's like if it just I could feel it as the game was going. Like every little thing that was like, okay, that's small, but it just seemed like all the players I needed to just stop scoring points just kept being like, oh well, maybe just like one more catch. Oh, like this one little thing goes away. Okay, well,
just one more catch.
That field goal goes in. And not that I didn't make mistakes on my side of the ball, right? Tyson Williams, I really thought he was going to be a better play against Detroit.
Yeah,
that was brutal. But Jeff, what are you seeing in this game?
Well, I also saw some reports of Marquise Brown and some huge drops that he had. So not to add salt to the wounds, but it didn't sound too good. So, him sitting right there at 6.8, I think two of those at least would have went for touchdowns from my understanding. So that right there wins you the game, and he's a professional athlete at wide receiver. He should be able to catch those. But yeah, the Tyson Williams play, that you touched on it. That's a huge surprise right there. And kind of similar to Troy's last couple weeks, or, he gets a lot from Mahomes, and he has a pretty good outing from a couple other guys. But, it is disappointing that Pitts hasn't performed. And I think this is more just getting used to it. I think better days for him are around the corner. So it's unfortunate, Mike. I thought for sure you were going to walk away with this win, but the Mud Dogs proved otherwise.
Nick, do you think that he's going to have to start sitting Kyle Pitts here for Logan Thomas? I mean, or Dalton Schultz. I mean, he's got a lot of tight ends on that roster, and Pitts has been one of the worst of them.
Logan Thomas has been pretty solid, to our surprise a little bit. I mean, I think you'd have to start sitting him for one of these other options until he proves to you, unless you love the juicy matchup. But I mean, we've seen in the past, what do we have? The Giants, 4.5. I know we talked about earlier sneaky defense. I mean, a 19th against, that's Washington. But yeah, I think you have to sit him until he proves it to you.
Yeah,
that offense just looks terrible.
It's tough. You draft the guy with that high draft capital, you want to use him, but you see some of these rookies just take time to get rolling. And I mean,
it's dynasty, so you still have them. So I mean, look at
Trevor Lawrence, right? I mean, he's been putting up sub 10 points almost every week, and it's like, you see that he's got the talent, you see that there's weapons around him, and you would think, okay, this Falcons offense, it's got to go to somebody, but it's just not him.
Mm-hmm. It's not anyone, sadly.
Yeah. Anything else in this
bum
one,
of the
Nick?
week drop? Bum of the week drop, baby.
Let's do it.
Nick's bum of the week.
Spare any change, sir? No, off.
I'm gonna take my headphones off quick while you do this.
That's all right. So the bum of the week is It's got to be Greg the Leg. Really, the coaching decision to go for it on fourth down, 2 separate occasions. One, they didn't get it. If they would have just kicked the field goal there, Mike would have pulled off a win. So they're both in the red zone. I think Dallas was up big on both of these. So I have no idea why they didn't kick the field goal. I think the first one they didn't convert. They weren't up by that much, but still, it's like just kick the field goal. Yeah, I'm done.
Sounds like it was the perfect storm against you, Mike. A lot of things went wrong.
Moving on to our next matchup, we got Cobra Kai and Coach Kyle Stankowski taking on Ball is Life and Coach John Lamers. Cobra Kai was the 15-point favorite in this one. Ball is Life showed out 155 to 108. Nick had some faith that Ball is Life would keep it close. Came away with a 40-plus point win. Nick, your faith paid off. What did you see in John's team?
Everyone really hit this game. I mean, Najee had that big game. DK finally hit. Mike Williams, what a wonderful trade for him. I can't lie to you. I'm starting to get a little afraid about this potato bet. I mean, his team looks good. We always we want to like your team, but nothing was hitting for him. Clyde even had a decent game, 100 yards rushing, receiving touchdown. I mean, we'll see if it can hold up. DK Williams, I think Chase has proven it, and Najee has the volume. I think he's a decent team. He's going to surprise some people.
Yeah, for sure. I do think, I don't think it'll be this week because Chase has such a nice matchup and T. Higgins is out of the lineup, but I think the shoe is going to drop for him. You see 4 catches again. He's not getting the volume where he should realistically have 4 touchdowns at this point in the season.
That's right.
It happens. People go on runs like this, but I can't imagine he's going to end the year with 25 touchdowns, which is basically what he's on pace for at this point. So,
good God.
You got to think that shoe is going to drop at some point here. But DK is picking it up finally. Mike Williams, if he doesn't get hurt, he's going to be great all year, I have to see. Yeah. Getting that tight end spot figured out is going to be maybe a little bit of a challenge for him, but the same could be said for most of the league. So, Jeff, what about you? What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, just looking over on Cobra's side, Hurts had a decent game, and Robinson, he got in the end zone, it looks like here. So, it's nice to see that he's paying off a little bit there. He's had some shaky performances, and then older, reliable Devontae Adams put up another good game with 25 and 25.2. So, but then you see some duds, Robbie Anderson just wasn't involved. Hawkinson, same thing. Moore, we all like that play, but he didn't, as most rookies, they're kind of hit or miss. This week he didn't get much out of them. So, but I don't really think there was much Cobra Kai could do. We mentioned it. Ball is Life just hit on the right week, and 155 points. You're going to win almost every single matchup. So.
Yeah, Kyle had about 25 points or so sitting on the bench that he realistically could have swapped in, and that's not even including if he played Dawson Knox over Hawkinson. I'm not even going to count that because no one's ever going to do that, right?
Right.
No. Right.
But the Rondale and the Robbie Anderson plays, very easily could have swung to be, Tim Patrick and Zach Moss, and that's 25 more points. Mm-hmm. Now, it wouldn't have made a difference in this one, but it brings up kind of an interesting part of how Kyle's team is built. He can play matchups because I don't think that between Melvin Gordon, James Robinson, Zach Moss, Elijah Mitchell, none of those guys are I have to start this player every single week. So he can play matchups, which is beneficial. But it also kind of hurts because you start second guessing, you play the wrong guy on the wrong week. There's the other side of it too. Everybody loves to have the team where it's I never have to make a lineup decision because my guys are good enough. That's realistic. That's not the case for most people, but it feels like Kyle's team especially. He's just got a lot of very similar players that it would drive me crazy, picking the wrong guys, every other week if that's what it ended up being. So,
yeah,
he's consistently going to have a lot of bench points on his team throughout the year.
Yeah, there it is.
Jumping on to our next one, we got the Taint Ticklers and Coach Nick Stoll taking on Benny and the Jets and Coach Ben Stelzer. Taint was the 1-point favorite in this one. I had some faith in Ben. It didn't look promising the whole way through, but Ben pulled it out 130 to 114.
Freaking hunt.
some late pushes. Yeah, Kareem Hunt having a nice game. It seemed like it was going to be tough when we made the calls. Delvin Cook was supposed to be in, and he went out, and it really seemed like, all right, this is, Nick, this is your chance to roll. But Jeff, looking over the scoreboard here, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Gesicki had a nice 10 receptions for
Fuck
86
that
yards.
shit. Stupid overtime.
Did he get a lot in that? I don't even know.
I think two catches.
He's obviously more involved in there. Yeah, more involved. And then really the big thing is like with Ben's team, Lockett didn't have a very good week.
Mm-hmm.
He still put up 130, but Diggs overall too, 9.2 points. Those are way under what you would expect from those two guys, and he still found enough to win this. And with Delvin Cook out, that's kind of scary to Ben's lineup, but Sermon got enough for him and just had enough points to get the win. And obviously Cooper Kupp rolled again and had finished with 26.1. So it's a tough one for you, Nick.
Yeah. And in that, for Trey Sermon in that game, I mean, he looked bad. They didn't seem to trust him very much. He didn't get a whole lot of run, but he got the touchdown, which was enough to give him a good day. Tyler Lockett got a little banged up in that game. I saw he didn't practice today, so be curious to watch what he's looking like coming up this upcoming week. But Nick, on your side of the ball, right? You didn't have a bad game really in any department. Obviously, Sterling Shepard getting hurt early, doesn't help you. Allen Robinson, when your team passes for I don't know, Jeff, I don't know if you heard this stat, but the Bears passed for I believe 68 yards. And Justin Fields was sacked for negative 67 yards.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that would explain why Mooney was terrible.
Just incredibly bad.
It's so terrible. That's the aspect of it. I mean, we thought he was quarterback proof, but good God, Chicago's offense just looks terrible. I gave a lot up for A-Rob too, so hopefully we can turn it around a little bit here. I need some production out of him.
Put Dalton back in there.
The Red Rocket, baby. We almost have to. I think I prefer him at this point.
Yeah. Let it fly.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, I didn't have a terrible game. Keenan Allen, I should have traded for Mike Williams instead. 4 touchdowns. He's averaging like 20-something points.
Yeah, he's killing it right now. It's with him, the talent was there. It's just a matter of if he stays healthy. So
that is legitimately all it is.
One of the most interesting parts of this game to me is actually on your bench, Nick. Peyton Barber, who Kyle cut earlier this year, comes into Las Vegas and puts up 111 yards and a touchdown, another 31 through the air. That's a solid game. That's pretty much the same line that Derrick Henry put up on a lot less carries and plus a touchdown, right? So
yeah,
that's against a Miami team that's thought to have a great defense. I don't know that that's necessarily true at this point, but they were thought to be a really good defense coming into the year.
I don't like to see that. That's not good.
I don't like to see that.
I thought you were in the backfield, Jeff.
Yeah.
Gotcha, sucker. There's no way I would have started him, though. You know what I mean?
No.
Sterling Shepard or Pitt.
Highest scoring person on the bench this week. There's your pick.
Well, if I might start him if freaking Jacobs is out again this week. Shoot.
Unfortunately, you won't know that till Monday night. But
it is a Monday night game. That's a Chargers, so pretty decent defense.
All right, moving on to our last one. We got Old Man Joe and Coach Joe Thomas taking on I Am Left-Handed and Coach Kyle Monroe. Monroe was a 29-point favorite and took a fat L, 95-91. You'll love to see it.
We do.
I think I told Kyle the only thing keeping my spirits up at all was just drinking his tears after this loss. So, no, it's funny. We talked about Kyle's floor being 100 points. Well, clearly his floor is about 90 points because
got his ass.
Yeah,
he had pretty bad games all around, and that's kind of where he ended up. His bad games are 6-8 points. DeAndre Hopkins only getting 3.6. Not a great outing there. Nick, what are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, I mean, Arizona scored 31. I don't even really remember this game because it's been a week, but still. I mean, Kyler Murray 18, Hopkins only 3.6. It's tough. I mean, I didn't think it was possible for him not to score 100 points, but then Hunt too, taking a lot of carries and the touchdowns. Yeah, from Chubb. So I guess it's possible. It's possible to beat this guy. Thank you, Old Man Joe. I love you.
It's just kind of opposite of what you normally see of Kyle's team in a lot of sense. His wide receivers go off and his running back Chubb has been pretty consistent, and you finally get a good game out of Zeke this year and doesn't really help you at all. So it's kind of a little concerning, but I don't think he's going to lose too much sleep over this. But what is going on with A.J. Brown? He must have got banged up and pulled pretty early.
Yep, got hurt right away pretty early in the game. I think he's going to be – I don't think he's playing this week. I don't know that there's anything beyond that, but it's a hamstring, which is not ideal. That's has the potential to linger. At least Brandon Ayuk had a decent game, so he's got can maybe have a little bit of confidence to move him back in. He's maybe out of the doghouse, but definitely concerning if you're Joe, because Madison's gonna get relegated right back to the bench when Cook is back. Quintez Cephas, his streak kind of ended of good games, so definitely concern from Joe's side. But this division 3-way tie for first right now.
Oh baby!
Wow.
Anything else on this one, boys?
No, that's all she wrote.
All right. Well, a bad week all around for us in predicting games. I had a commanding lead at 3-3 this week, dead even. Nick at 2-4, and Jeff didn't get any of the games right. So 0-6. He was in first. Jeff was in first. Now it's a tight race. Nick taking the lead at 8-10. Jeff at 7-11, and me still in the rear at 6-12. So
suck it, Jeff.
Yes. Suck it.
Just an all-around bad week for me. That's
for everyone, really. No one. Yeah.
Not a good week to be a jug. All right. Let's jump into next week's.
Dive on into the Husky League matchups.
All right, the Husky League matchups. The first one on deck is Lick McCaff and Medak I didn't update these. Lick McCaff and Medak at 2-1 versus Cobra Kai at also 2-1.
2-1.
Cobra Kai is the 4-point favorite right now. I'm sure that'll fluctuate as we get closer to game time. But Jeff, why don't I toss this one to you first? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cobra Kai covering this one here. I think losing McCaffrey on Jordan's squad is gonna be obviously just a huge hole that he's got to fill, and I just don't see Fournette getting enough to take and make up for those points that McCaffrey puts in, week out. I like Kyle's wide receivers, Adams. Mike, I don't know if you wanna hit it for me here right now.
Jeff's keep on cooking.
Who wants some man meat? I do. I want some man meat.
Yeah, just keep on cooking this week. Devontae Adams, old reliable. He's got a matchup against Pittsburgh that in years past hasn't looked favorable. This year, I'm not too scared of that Pittsburgh defense, and Devontae Adams is just too good to get stopped by anyone. So he's in for another big week. I tend to like to pick Kyle's guys, it seems like, on this, but
Thielen and Adams so far this year, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
were you right on the Thielen pick?
No, I don't think I was.
I can't remember. Oh, okay.
I'm right there with you, Jeff. I'm taking Kyle in this one. Especially, Leonard Fournette, I don't think is going to do much of anything. I think they're going to force feed Brady to get as many touchdowns as possible. I think, Gronk, I think, will have a solid game in that tight end spot just because of that exact reason, right? It's a revenge game for him, too. I don't know if it's really revenge when you retire from a team, not like get traded or something like that. But still, it's going to be a game where they're gonna find a way to get Gronk a touchdown. At the very least, Gronk runs away with this with one touchdown. I don't think there's really any doubt in that. The biggest problem on Jordan's side of the ball, I saw Chase Claypool popped up on an injury report today. He's all of a sudden in question for this weekend, and Jordan's already kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel with Leonard Fournette. I don't know if he's got a great play that I would feel comfortable in there instead of Claypool. So I got to take Stank. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I'm taking Stank's going to cover this one too. I mean, a couple good weeks from Zach Moss. They're going against Houston. Could be decent for him. Yeah, looking through him, Hawkinson has to have a bounce back game against Chicago. I would assume so. 2 points, that's not hard to beat. So, and we talked about Jeff just keep cooking. I think Devontae Adams is going to go off again. Yeah, I think Kyle is 4 points is. I think he's going to win by more than that. So with no CMC in there, it's a pretty easy decision for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and, also hit that garbage time all-star, baby.
Nick's Garbage Time All-Star.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage.
So I haven't been great so far besides that first week. I am going to go with Cooks this week. I think Buffalo's going to put it on Houston, and Cooks is going to get a late touchdown, baby. Come on, get me back in it.
Nice.
You need it. I feel like Cooks is a pretty safe bet just about any week because you just know that he will at least get garbage time.
Yeah.
Whether he puts it up or not, but you know he'll have garbage time. He'll have the chance pretty much every week. So
that's what I'm saying. I think the spread was like something ridiculous. I think it was 14 or what is it, 15 maybe?
Bills plus it was 14 or 16. I don't remember, or minus 16.
Yeah,
it was 14 or 16, one of the two. It was it was absurd.
That's the biggest line this year, I think.
I would believe it. So, jumping on to our next matchup, we got Lick McCaff and Medak at 2-1, taking on Cobra Kai at 2-1. That was the one I just read, so we're gonna actually go to the next matchup. Grizzly Adams
we just
at
talked about that.
taking on Jay's Juggernauts at 0-3. Grizzly is the 13-point favorite in this one. Nick, I'll toss this one to you first. What do you got?
I'm taking the champ. I'm taking the champ to cover. Jeff, your team just looks so bad. I'm sorry.
Dude, maybe this is the week. You never know.
I don't like Amari Cooper against Carolina. Carolina's defense has been balling out. Goddard might have a decent game against Kansas City, but Ridley, I still don't trust him. Washington's defense doesn't look good, but shoot, Atlanta looks terrible. And Barkley's doing decent now. He's coming off a decent game. I think he scored 18 last week, right? Callaway with the touchdown. I don't know if that's going to continue on. Maybe it'll work out for Cooley. I think Kelsey.
Did you see how disgusting that touchdown was?
Dude, I can't remember.
Dude, it was disgusting in the worst possible way.
That one.
Not when I say like disgusting, like it was so cool. Like that was just like the grossest play. Like that. I don't know if that's going to continue. Like that can't continue.
Winston
so Jeff,
special.
for your reference, Winston was looking up to God when he threw that one, and it was like from the 10-yard line, he was getting sacked, looking straight in the air, and just like threw it straight up in the air, and then
Callaway just made a play.
Well, the defender like mistimed his jump because he was so surprised at what the fuck was happening, and like so he went up and got it, but it was just the most broken thing you've ever seen in your life. There was no reason for that.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that's terrible.
So I don't know if I would ever consider that that's going to continue. Right? I think if he gets a touchdown next game, it's starting.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm taking Cooley in this one too, Jeff. This is if you're sticking with Trevor Lawrence to the death, I think you're going to have a bad time. Damian Harris is going to have a really bad game here, going up against Tampa Bay. He doesn't catch passes, and nobody runs well against him. Josh Jacobs banged up. Even if he plays, I can't imagine he's just going to suddenly play every snap, get every ball, right? So, I think there's enough going against you that I don't see a lot of upside on your team this week, Jeff. What about you, though?
Yeah, you got to be faithful. So I'm going to go with myself here.
Optimistic. I like it, Jeff.
Optimistic. Someone's got to be rooting for the Jugs every week.
Eventually they'll get it right.
Yeah, eventually they'll play out for me. But tough first 4 weeks. So, I've had what was a pretty tough matchup against Joe, then roll right into Monroe and Tony, and now I got the champ. So that strength of schedule has got to be pretty high up there. No, I think you guys hit on it
last week.
Yeah.
It's that darn strength of schedule.
Yeah.
I think my wide receivers, if they all hit on the right weeks, there's enough there to kind of keep this one close and hopefully stay within that margin. We'll see. You know, there's not good matchups. My running back room right there is really rough this week. I agree with that. And Lawrence, you know, like I said last week, I'm waiting for him to just take off and run it in. He's going against the Bengals here tonight on Thursday. Maybe we'll get a nice cushion and get off to a big league year. You never know. So, but yeah, I'm gonna roll with myself.
I love that your quote was, "If all my wide receivers hit right and all that it's all on the right week and it all hits just right. I could keep it close."
Yep.
And this is the week, baby.
Not that you could win, that you could keep it close.
I gotta prove myself wrong one of these times, you know.
All right, jumping on to our next one, we got I am left hand. Actually, before I jump on to the next one, I did miss something buried in my notes from the Cobra Kai and Lick McCaff game. So, Lick McCaff, Jordan reached out and was wondering about does he stick with Dak Prescott, who I think is probably the general consensus of what people would expect, or does he roll with Sam Darnold, who's been hot? He's been rushing a couple touchdowns in. There's no Christian McCaffrey, so you're thinking maybe he airs it out a little bit more. I think it's actually an interesting question. Carolina's defense has been pretty solid. Nick, what do you think here?
This is a tough one. I feel like it's so hard to start Sam Darnold off of 3 games played. I think I'm just going to stick with Dak just because you have more faith. Even though, 2 weeks ago he scored 7? Was that right?
Yeah, last week.
Against the Chargers. Yeah, I think you still got to roll with Dak. I mean, it could get a cheeky play, but I don't love getting cheeky. So.
Yeah, Jacksonville game is just kicking off right now, so we might get some live scoring updates during this. I agree with you. I'm a Dak guy myself. I think there's probably about a 40% chance that we could look back on this game and be like, Darnold scored more points. He would have been the right call. But I have no level of confidence that's enough to say I'm going to sit the guy who is projected to be the better scorer here. So, Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, you guys had some great points. I don't really have to hit on too many more. I'd roll with Dak. You won last week. Keep the consistency going and throw Dak in there. I don't think you're going to be upset if you roll with them every single week. I know I wouldn't be.
All right.
Coming in your position, you're like, please, I just want someone like Dak.
Jumping into this next matchup, we got I am left-handed and Coach Kyle Monroe at 2-1, taking on the SCLSU Mud Dogs at a surprising 2-1. Lefties are an 8-point favorite in this one. I gotta say, unless during this conversation I see DJ Chark catch a 40-yard bomb or something like that, I'm rolling with the lefties in this one. So he's got my money. I think his guys are good enough to carry him. I just I think Joe Mixon has a good week. I think Patrick Mahomes has a good week. Mm-hmm. Emmanuel Sanders can have another good week very easily. Yeah. I just don't think it matters. I just don't think there's enough there. Nick, toss it over to you. What about you?
Same thing. Chubb will have a bounce back week against Minnesota. I don't know too often if Chubb has 2 sub-10 games in a row. So I think he'll be back there. Tyreek Hill has been disappointing. Actually, I think, the last couple games he's had sub-10, right?
Last 2 weeks, yeah.
Last 2 weeks, 4 and 7. I don't see that happening again. So, I'm rolling with Kyle. We picked him for those huge lines. We were wrong last week, but I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kyle, I think, as my bench points guy here. I think between Hopkins and Beasley and some of those receivers, he's going to have to leave on the bench. Cordell Patterson might be the one that gets relegated to the bench there. I think one of those guys has a shot at going off, so I'm gonna take my shot at Kyle, despite him not really having a backup quarterback that's going to score any points. But Jeff, what do you see in this game?
Yep, I'm going to cover with Kyle. KMO go there. I think you just look across the lineups. Zeke and Mixon are probably about the most even. Mahomes and Murray, you can throw that in there. But then at every other position, I just really, really like Kyle's players more. And I don't know if he's going to stick with Patterson in there or not. Doesn't really matter. His wide receivers are good. He's got enough there. So I think, Nick, you mentioned it. Hill has had 2 bad weeks. This could be the week where he puts up 40. You just never know with that player. And if that happens, it's going to turn ugly quick. So running with Kamo on this week.
I'm glad we've all made our calls already, because you know how I said if DJ Chark
did it
down or something?
Did he, baby?
No, he's down on the field and it's bad.
Oh,
so
Oh, really?
it's not good for Lawrence.
quite the opposite.
What was it?
I don't know. I just got the notification that he got carted off. Just got the notification he got carted off, but the first one was just said he's down on the field and it doesn't look good. So
Ouch.
that's never
That's
a good
not good
never a good starting point. So moving on to our next matchup, we got the Aaron Rodgers football team at 2-1 taking on Balda's Life at 1-2. Football team is an 8-point favorite in this one, and we got some start-sit questions to go over. But first, Jeff, why don't I throw it to you? What do you see?
Yeah. This one's tough for me because I liked what I saw at John's team last week. So, the potential is there. That Williams matchup, it's going to be pretty good on Monday night, but I'm going to go with Tony. Josh Allen looked solid and is back on track. Eckler, Carson, Jefferson, Waddle, there's just a lot there that I like. So I'm going to roll with Tony to cover this. And I don't think he runs away with it, but what is that spread that we have? 8 points here. I think he just barely gets over that. So,
yep. Nick, I'll let you be the tiebreaker because I'm coming on the other end. I'm picking John in this one. I think his guys have enough. I think T. Higgins out of the lineup means a nice day for Jamar Chase. I think all of his other guys are on track, and I think it's going to be a solid day for John. I think 8 points is enough that I at least think he'll come inside of that. So, Nick, where do you land on this?
Right with you, Mike. We talked about how we're starting to like John's team more and more for a couple of those points. Then you got Mike Williams again, great matchup again. You got Hubbard in that flex spot. So, I mean, I like that. He's projected 12 points against Dallas. That's a huge upgrade in comparison to what he had previously. I know we have start sit-em questions, but I think you obviously know where I'm going with that. Then, I think Tony does not cover this one. So.
Yeah, and so jumping over to those start-sit questions, one of them is for the flex. So John submitted, is it Henderson? Is it Chuba? Is it Bryan Edwards? Is it Mecole Hardman? For me, when I look at this, I throw away Bryan Edwards and Mecole Hardman right away. Neither of those are players I'm putting in there. So it's between Henderson and Chuba.
Yeah.
To me, it's Chuba all day. Henderson being a little hurt, I'd want to see it for a week with what his split with Sony looks like, if he's a little bit banged up. So I'm going Chuba. Anybody disagree?
That is exactly my point. He's coming off injury, so why not roll with Chuba? He's going to get the touches.
And he's looked good when he has had those touches in the last couple of weeks.
Week.
So
he did. He looked good.
He
said that.
The other one, I think maybe is worth a little bit more discussion. So it's for the tight end spot here. So Jonnu Smith, Jared Cook, Tyler Conklin, all kind of in that same realm as far as the tight end. Nick, I'll throw this one to you first. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not excited about starting really any of them. I mean, I think you just ride Conklin after that decent game last week, but you say that and he'll have a shitty game. I don't know if is he hurt right now? Elbow limited practice. I'm still rolling with it.
An elbow and a glute injury, both.
And a glute. My ass.
Jeff, any thoughts there?
Yeah, of the three, I mean, there's nothing that you're going to get too excited about. So I'd roll with Conklin as well, and just hopefully he does something similar to what he did last week, or is even half of that, and I think he'd be happy with it. So that's where I'm sitting.
I think I really don't think there's a great choice or a bad choice among these. I think they're all right in the same realm.
Yep.
The interesting part of Jonnu Smith to me is James White being out for the season. They don't have a back that just instantly profiles as that same kind of back that James White is. You know, some people think maybe J.J. Taylor. Some people think it's going to be more Brandon Bolden. You know, I don't think that they have the same back that's going to step in there. So maybe some of those shorter dump offs go to Jonnu and, you know, Jacoby Myers, I'm hopeful. But so that's the one interesting part of Jonnu. I don't honestly think that there's enough there to sway my decision any way or the other. So I'll just stick with you guys and say Conklin. But if it was my choice, I might go Jonnu just for that reason. Tell myself a story that he can get a couple extra targets that way. So,
yeah, get your path down. Yeah, I don't mind that.
So, moving on to our next.
Wait, I got my bench player. I'm gonna go with Tony on this one, and specifically because the Herb Daddy's in there.
The Herb Daddy.
That's probably one of the safest, the best quarterback that's sitting on anyone's bench this week, so.
That's what I looked for.
Yeah.
Such a cheap grab right there. It won't work out, obviously, but
yeah.
Moving on to our next one, we got the Archduke Fish at 0-3 taking on Benny and the Jets at 2-1. The Duke is somehow a 2-point favorite in this. I think
not somehow, baby. The comeback.
Yeah,
that's mainly because Dalvin Cook is still projected sub 10 points because they don't know if he's going to play or not. So that line realistically is probably closer to even, if anything, but will give me the -2. I'm going to take Benny in this one.
What?
Wow, no faith.
I got no faith.
Wow.
George Kittle's a little banged up. Who knows if he plays? I'm counting on Jacoby Myers in my flex right now. I think Derrick Henry has just an absolute monster game against the Jets, but and then Brady and Evans too. I think, but those three guys have gone off every week, and we've seen how it's worked out for me. So, Jeff, what do you see in this one?
This one was the hardest one for me to pick this entire matchups. I've jumped back and forth, I think, twice now. The latest thing I have written down here is I'm going to roll with Ben. So I think Ben comes away with this. So if Cook's in there, I like that. Even if I'm just hoping he's not too limited. But if Cook's full go, you like to see that. Kupp, Diggs, and it's more so I just think those guys are going to have a really good week. That's kind of where it boils down to, Mike. I don't see why your team would just destroy Ben here if they all hit, but they haven't the last couple weeks, or they did the week 2, but I don't know. I got a feeling the Jets are going to soar here today.
Nick, how about you?
I have faith in you, Mike, even though you don't have faith in yourself. You're going to cover this. This is the week that Robert Woods does something and Kupp takes a step back. I can put that on a fucking guarantee, baby. Brady will have a great game. Evans is going to score too. It's going to be a revenge game. So more shares of that. I am happy with that. Brown, I don't know. Maybe he catches something. I'm not hopeful.
You like to see that he's open and behind the defense, though. I mean, that's encouraging. He's getting that separation.
But when you got drops in your head, it just keeps going. I think you're just gonna. Hopefully he bounces back. I'm not super hopeful. And Hunt's going to take a step back too. Fuck that guy.
I think it would concern me more. Him dropping the ball would concern me a lot more if they were like slants and outs and like passes that were coming in with some heat, because that's a skill, right? Catching a bullet right into your hands is a skill. Catching the 3 hit drops he had were over the shoulder, right in his hands, right? That is a skill, but it's more so a mental thing, right? It's just, being smart, staying focused. I gotta hope that he can turn that around. It's not like he's had a long-term problem with drops, so
right.
I'm hopeful that he can turn that around. I think Tyler Boyd's going to have a really nice game tonight as he catches a 33-yard catch right in front of the face.
Notification.
No, I think he's going to have a nice
now.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a nice game because, like I said, without Higgins out there, I was really hoping Higgins could go in this one just because it's such a nice matchup. I think Boyd's got to get a bunch without him. So, yeah, that's part of my reasoning here. So, real quick, I got Jacoby Myers in there right now against Tampa Bay. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping some extra passes got to go his way. He had 14 targets last week, just a ton. Wow. So, but obviously the other option here is Henry Ruggs going against the Chargers. If it wasn't the Chargers, I think I'd start him. But you guys on board with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, target share has been picking up. We talked about the Chargers having a decent defense.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of gonna be a shootout, though. I don't know. That is a tough call. Ruggs last 2 games, 7 targets, 5 and 4 for receptions. 2 games ago against Pittsburgh, got that touchdown on 100 yards. It's tough. Ruggs is starting to make a strong argument to get in there.
I do have the benefit of Jacoby being the Sunday night and Ruggs being the Monday game. So
yeah,
Ben will be done scoring points. If I need, a 20 bomb, maybe I go Ruggs, and if I need 5, then maybe I go Jacoby. So
yeah,
so I have that one benefit.
I'm leaning more Myers, I think, Mike, and mostly because the Bucs, they're going to put up a bunch of points. I see the Patriots being down here, having to air it out without James White in there. There's one less guy, I should say, that is going to take away from Myers. And if he had 14 targets last week with White being out, that's encouraging. So that's enough for me to probably put him in that flex position. But like you mentioned, you got some time. You can wait and see how the matchup's going. And if you need a lot, throw Ruggs in there. And if you just need 10, maybe you stick with Myers.
For sure. All right, jumping on to our last matchup, we got Old Man Joe at 2-1 taking on the Taint Ticklers at 1-2. The Taint is a 12-point favorite in this one. Jeff, I'll give it to you first. What do you see?
I'm gonna go with the Taint Ticklers.
Yeah,
I think Kamara and Gibson. I like both of their matchups, even though the Giants have a pretty good defense. Kamara is he's just too good, and Atlanta is just terrible. So I think Washington's going to get back on track. So I think Gibson's going to have a big week. You touched about Keenan Allen and Allen Robinson. Robinson's going against Detroit. You like to see that. So, Nick, there's enough in here that just looking through your matchups and the guys you got in there that I like that, like those plays and those lineups. But I will mention that since this is the last matchup, I guess I'll go with Joe having the most bench points this week.
I guess. I don't know.
Kirk Cousins, when we were going to pick a player, was going to be my guy. So he's got 2 quarterbacks and Cousins and Goff. So,
Okay.
You can see it.
Kirk's been playing really well. I think Joe Burrow's still the right play against an abysmal defense tonight, but Kirk's been playing really well, so I don't doubt that at all. Nick, I'm gonna let you go first because I still haven't decided who I'm picking here.
I think I have to take myself. I think it's a confidence thing. Get this locker room rolling. Motivate A-Rob here against Detroit. I mean, that's the cure for everything. We talked about it. Even with Green Bay, you play Detroit and you get back on track. So hopefully the Red Rocket gets in there and A-Rob gets a little more receptions here. Looking through, Pittman cracked out lineup. I think last 2 weeks, 12 targets each. So that's promising. I was hoping it was going to turn out that way. So we'll see how they play against a decent, not really Miami defense. I think 16th against giving up to opposing wide receivers. So, yeah, I like my matchups with Godwin too, that revenge game. I like any part of that Tampa Bay offense. So I know I just talked about my team, but screw you, Joe.
Yeah. I honestly, probably the thing that's holding me up the most is the fact that Antonio Gibson didn't practice today. That's got me a little concerned that maybe
shin though. It's his shin.
Yeah, but that is even weirder because it's such a weird.
It is weird.
If it was his, something that I knew, like if it was a finger, I'd be like, okay, whatever, he's gonna come out and he's gonna play. But if it was a hamstring, I would know that I probably wouldn't count on him. But what the heck does a shin mean, right? Is it a stress fracture or is it a bruise? Like who knows? But to hold him out of practice on a Thursday is always kind of telling. It's surprising usually. Yeah. Usually if it's just a maintenance thing, usually it's a Wednesday that they're sitting out. So that's concerning. You know what? I'm going to use the information up to this point to my advantage. I'm going to take Joe to cover this. Chark being out, I'm going to give some extra targets to LaVisca. Joe Burrow's in the red zone right now, so I'm going to use the
Hey, he's on
information.
35.
Oh, yeah, they get a penalty.
Yeah.
They just lost 8 yards. So I'll use the information in front of me to my advantage.
Also, it's got to be here because you didn't hit your drop yet. So,
oh God, is this?
Oh,
I don't have to use it every week, but I guess I'll use it since I'm doing
Mike's
it.
against the expert's pick.
Are you gonna listen to a big dummy, or are you gonna listen to me?
I guess I could have given it to Ben last matchup too. I did some other against the experts, but yeah, I'll use it. Whatever. What the heck, Joe? Don't let me
why
down.
wouldn't you? He's gonna. He's old.
He's gonna do it. You can't stop
Let you
him.
down. I know.
All right, Jeff. I think it's your turn.
Ask me the questions, Bridgekeeper. I'm not afraid.
This here's Mike's. Will it happen?
So Mike, we had some debate about the 62 points. Do you think anyone is going to score less than 62 points this year?
Ooh, contemplation.
It will happen.
That was Mike's. Will it happen?
Wow.
I don't feel too
All
bad
right,
now.
boys. Here we go.
That's
Shut up,
terrible.
baby, I know it.
Shut up, baby. I know it. Absolute guarantee.
All right, I'll lead up with my guarantee. I'm going to stick with my own team here at the guarantees and say Brady gets a minimum of 3 touchdowns in a revenge game in New England.
Shut up, baby, I know it.
Big.
Jeff,
Passing or rushing?
minimum of
Rushing.
3.
All rushing.
All 1 yard scampers.
3 yard rush. 3 yards, 3 touchdowns for Brady
Yep.
on the
I'd
ground.
love it. Jeff, what do you got?
All right. My absolute guarantee this week is Mike Williams. Nick, I know you're pretty high on him. Will not score a touchdown this week. So he's
Shut up, baby, I know it.
had 4 through the first 3 weeks, and I just think that streak ends. So
Really? They're going against Vegas, right?
yeah.
All right,
Keenan Allen's time, baby.
what you got, Nick?
So my absolute guarantee, you didn't have your back, Mike. I'm gonna go with you. My absolute guarantee is Mike wins this week. We're getting back
Shut
on
up,
track,
baby, I know it.
There's a smile from him.
All right, boys.
Absolute every day.
I do like it, but maybe next week I'll be more into it. But
After a dub.
that really depends on whether or not Cooley's a dick this week. So
You dick.
appreciate everybody stopping by. Good luck this week, unless you're playing one of us. We'll see ya.
Webster's dictionary defines radish as a swollen, pungent-tasting edible root high in potassium, which can help lower blood pressure. Or more importantly, 3 guys spitting nonsense and talking about fantasy football. Add salt and pepper and chomp into another episode next time. See y'all later.
I didn't even notice that. It's fine. I'm okay. That's funny. Boom, boom, boom.
Jesus.